After a good night's sleep, we headed into the jungle early in the morning. This forest is named after Rani Durgavati, who was the queen of Gondi people. After her husband's death, she ascended the throne of Gondwana. She fought against the Mughal army and sacrificed her life on the battlefield. As we ventured deep into the jungle, we were very excited to see what the forest of Veerangana Rani Durgavati was sheltering. The first thing we saw in the morning was an Indian jackal. A forest official once shared about a saying that if you see a jackal at the beginning of your journey into the jungle, then it is unlikely that you'll see a big cat. He said that it is better to turn around and go back than waste your time in the wilderness. But we continued because we were happy to experience whatever nature had to offer, including the tiger, of course. Soon the forest showed us a long-billed vulture, or the Indian vulture, which is a critically endangered species. Veerangana Durgavati Tiger Reserve is a dry deciduous forest. Parts of the reserve fall under the Narmada and Yamuna river basins. As we started entering the core zone, we saw a huge herd of cheetal. They are found in abundance and are the basic food for a range of carnivores, including the tigers. An Indian grey langur was keeping a watch on the ground opposite the herd, while a charismatic stag was grazing alone, away from the rest of the deer. The male spotted deers have three-pronged antlers which grow nearly 3 feet long. They shed their antlers every year. This male, like the Nilgai we saw yesterday, was a handsome, bold fellow, unworthy of our presence. Meanwhile, when we were busy admiring the stag, a male grey hornbill was enjoying a meal on a tree beside him. Veerangana Durgavati Tiger Reserve is formed by clubbing two wildlife sanctuaries, namely Durgavati Wildlife Sanctuary and Nauradehi Wildlife Sanctuary. We were now heading towards the Nauradehi Forest Rest House. Nauradehi Forest Rest House overlooks the entire expanse of the forest. This guest house also has 2 rooms. These rooms too are neat and clean, have air coolers, double bed with mosquito nets, and ceiling fans. They both have attached baths which are spacious and have the required amenities. There is a common dining room. The adjoining room has an old photograph of the rest house. This room is an exact carbon copy of the previous room. This guest house is frequently visited by a pair of purple sunbirds. We were fortunate to capture the movement of these shy and nimble little birds on our camera. The wildlife had adapted and had their own way of using the man-made solar panels. After having lunch, we left the rest house along with the tracker and headed deeper inside the tiger reserve with the hope of catching a glimpse of the largest cat. The entire reserve is located on a plateau and it forms a part of the upper Vindhya ranges. This reservoir acts as a crucial corridor connecting Panna, Satpura and Bandhavgarh Tiger Reserve. A lesser adjutant perched on a tall, dry, broken tree caught our eye. This huge, bare-headed stork is listed as a vulnerable species. We reached an area having tall, dry grass, and the tracker asked us all to be alert. And there, between the tall grass, is that what I think it is? But others couldn't notice because nothing was visible from a distance. Upon closer look, as the wind blew apart the dry grasses, the orange and black with the two distinct white spots became more clear. And then the camouflage tiger started moving. There, it looked straight into my eyes, saying, "What are you doing in my jungle?" It stood there observing our reaction. When it realized that we weren't intimidated by its growl, but at the same time meant no harm, it went into the thicket. We also backed our vehicle and stopped following it. The tiger sat down behind the bushes, probably waiting for us to make the first move. But we switched off the vehicle, maintaining pin-drop silence. After some time, when it got comfortable with our presence, it got up and went on its way. It is always thrilling to see the majestic tiger in the wild. But what we forget is that these felines might have their own plans. They probably were mapping out an attack, but our vehicles intervened. Or the loud chatter of the onlookers scared away their prey. This is really annoying to these agile creatures. So whenever a jungle is visited, it is important to maintain silence and give the animal space. Meanwhile, when we were engrossed admiring this majestic beast, a barred jungle owlet was monitoring us from a height. In spite of the wind and swaying branches, it recorded our every move without losing its line of sight. As we moved out, we saw the same tiger relaxing on the ground at a distance. We were glad that we listened to our hearts and busted the myth about the sight of jackals. After lingering around for more than an hour, the tiger finally decided to leave.